This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, discounted prices, miniaturemarket.com.
Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Today we're going to be together making some music. We're going to be having different notes flying by, and we're going to be trying to play the piano and the cello and the drums and the tuba together cooperatively. We're taking a look at Okey Dokey here. This is a 1 to 5 player game. It's from Tasty Minstrel Games. And so let me show you how it's played, and then I'll see you on the other side. In Okey Dokey, you're going to be trying to sequence different types of cards. There's 5 different suits or instruments. The purple is pianos, the orange is tubas, the green is the cello probably, the red is the mic, and the blue are the drums. And the cards in each suit go from 1 to 8. I believe there's 1 of each of them. Over the course of the game, you'll be playing cards out to the board there. And what you're doing is each row is going to be 1 instrument for the whole game. So now that this first column is built on the right there, you'll see we have some instruments. At the top there, we have the green cello, then we have the mic, and we have the piano, we have the drum. And so now we know that those are the rows that those instruments are going to be in. Notice there's one that has a 0 there that's a rest. Each round, a column is going to get filled before you move to the next column, and each column will have to have 1 of these rests. So each round, 1 suit is not going to get played, but instead you'll take a rest card from the left. This is sort of off the board, but there's only 2 for each suit. So there's 2 rests for each suit. 1 of them's used. This one only has 1 left. These are sort of off the board, but they're in line with a certain suit here. So each round, each player is going to play 1 card at a time and then draw back up a card. You'll have a different amount of cards depending on the amount of players that are in the game. So let's say it's the beginning of the second round. We're playing a 2-player game. I have 7 cards. These would normally be in my hand. Now we're going to be playing here. And so what you do is you communicate with your partners without saying exactly what you have. You can't say, hey, I have a red 7. But you use clever communication. For example, anytime a next card is played, and again, the suit has to stay the same, so this is always going to be pianos for the rest of the game. I could say, hey, I am really good at piano this round. And that's telling your partner, hey, I probably have a number that's pretty close to 2, which is I have the very next number. If I had like a 4 or 5, I'd be like, hey, I'm pretty good at piano. Or if I didn't have any, I'd be like, I cannot play the piano for a lick of thing. So I might, at the beginning of the round, say, hey, you know what, I'm really good at piano this round. And I'm okay at the mic. I'm not too bad. And the other player's going to tell you which ones they're good at. And you're going to be trying to plan, even at the beginning, which suits are you going to play, which is going to be the 1 suit that you don't play and that you rest and reset back to 0. Because every time you play a card, it has to be in the same suit line and it has to be ascending. So I might play that and then draw a card, and then the next player would play a card, and then I would play a card back and forth. So let's say the next player played a 4 of drums. And then I played the 6 and then drew another card. Now let's say the other player, one of these 2 is going to be a rest. And they don't want, let's say, you know what, I'm not that great there, but I don't want to use my last rest in this row, so I'm going to play the tuba, because we know that the tuba is going to have to go in this row, which means the last player plays the rest. Now when you play a rest, a cool thing happens. You can discard up to 2 cards and draw back up. So maybe I'll say, you know what, we're really far away from the 8. I don't want this. They would put it to the bottom of the draw pile and draw a new one. And then you'd start a new round, and again, talking about what you have, which one you think you're going to play. There is a special card called equals. This essentially is any color, and it just equals this. So this just is another red or microphone 6. Allows you to sort of buy yourself some time. That's pretty much the game. You're keeping the same suit, you're trying to go up, you're trying to rest and reset it back to 0 at the right time, you're trying to use the right cards at the right time, because if at any point a player cannot play a card, the game ends. And when it ends, you just add up all the cards that you've played, and that's your score. If you're able to get all 10 rows of the 5 things, so 50 cards out, you have won. And a very important rule is you can never go to the next column without filling up every card in the same column that you're working on. So all these 3 cards have to be played before someone could play that. All right, well there's Okey Dokey. The theme itself, let's get there, It is so cute. The theme and the artwork, the little chickadees on the cards and the little pandas on the rests, and it's just a very cute game. And being a musician myself, I love musical themes. And sure, this theme really could have been anything. I mean, the theme is pretty much pasted on, but I don't care because they did a great job with it, and it's cute, and it's fun to hang out and talk about which instrument you're going to be able to play that round. I think this is an excellent gateway cooperative game. I've introduced this game to people that don't play games at all, like my father-in-law. We played it with him last weekend, and he absolutely loved it. Now, this game has a lot of clever communication, where at the beginning of the round, you're sitting there looking at your cards, you're looking around the table, you're saying, hey, okay, let's work through this. Who's going to play what? Who's good at what instrument? And it's like, yeah, I'm going to be great on the mic this round, or man, I could play a tuba like nobody's business. And you're coming up with like these clever ways to drop how good you are at something, and you're trying to figure it out. And I like that aspect of the vague communication because it's fun. Now, granted, the more you kind of play into that, the more fun the game is going to be. Where if you just say, so anyway, if you ham it up a little bit, the game is more fun in my opinion. I love being able to try to figure out what the best moves are going to be without perfect information because, people are giving you vague clues, and after a while you can kind of figure out, what's going on, maybe what they might have in their hands. You're looking at the board as the game goes on. There's some deduction elements where you're looking at which cards are out there. You're hearing what clues they're giving you, and then you're looking and going, okay, if he said that and this is there, then she probably has, the 7. And that's cool because, so there's a little bit of deduction and figuring things out without perfect information that I really liked. A big complaint of a lot of co-ops is quarterbacking, where somebody takes over and just tells people what to do and figures out the whole puzzle and just tells everyone what to do. I think this game removes that completely from here because you have your own cards. You don't know what other people have. They can give you clues of what they have, but they can't explicitly tell you what they have, and everyone gets to make their own decisions. So I think this game takes that quarterbacking element out and does a really good job of doing that. This game is a fantastic solitaire game. I've played it a lot solitaire, so much so that my mother-in-law was playing solitaire on her iPad over the weekend. And I was like, oh, you like solitaire? Yeah, let me check this out. This game replaces the old-fashioned solitaire. And sure, if you're teaching grandma and all she knows is solitaire, it might take a couple of rounds of you playing through it with her. But once the main components are grasped, which aren't hard, I think you could teach this to the elderly people that like solitaire, and I think this could replace it for them. I found it an amazingly awesome solitaire game. I liked it with a lot of players too, but it was great solo. And this game essentially replaces what was called, quote, the game. This was a game a couple years ago came out, was one of the nominated Spiel des Jahres nominations, and it was called The Game. And I didn't like that game that much. I think it was okay for me, where this takes that similar thing where you've got that clever communication where you can't be explicit, but you're trying to give clues going up or down, and you're trying to figure out where to go. And I think it took that idea and did a much better job with it. It feels much more polished. It feels much more streamlined. And the theme and the artwork is so much better that this game really replaces, quote unquote, the game. So are there any cons? Sure. There's always, not every game is for everybody. And some people might not like the vague communication style in this game. They might not like it. They might not like just being able to, they want to be able to tell you what they have, and that goes against the nature of the game because, again, no quarterbacking. And they might not like the aspect that you're saying, well, it's a really good, I'm really good at the drums this round. And that leads me to the next one, which is you could kind of develop your own language, like you could in the game, where it's like, hey, I am the best tuba player. That means basically, okay, I have the next card. I am a pretty darn good tuba player means I'm like 2 away. I'm okay means 3 away. So after a while, if you play with the same people, you can kind of come up with a language. So you're almost explicitly telling them what they have without telling them. A little con, but it's fine. It's a light game. I don't care. It's still part of the fun is the vague communication. I try to mix it up so that we don't fall into that trap of always using the same descriptors to say what we have to keep the game interesting, but it can happen. Also, the game, you're drawing cards a lot, so you are at the mercy of the draw deck, and it is luck of the draw, much like solitaire. You could get a good hand and make it a little easier, or you could get a terrible hand and make it very hard. So overall, you get that luck factor there. But overall, this game's amazing. It's awesome. I highly recommend this. Anyone that's looking for a gateway-style card game, a quick game, a solitaire game, it's fantastic. I am keeping this in my gaming library. Let's induct it properly with a saxophone serenade.
This video was sponsored by Miniature Market's Review Corner. The Review Corner features podcasts, video, and written game reviews by gamers for gamers. Miniature Market, the online gaming superstore. Thousands of board games, discounted prices. Check them out at miniaturemarket.com.